Gentlemen, 6 Fig Stock Trader here from YouTube, and today we are going to be going over some things, but I'm just going to check my feed here to make sure everything is up and running, so bear with me 1 second. Let me know in the chat section if you are able to see anything here. Okay, so we got some stuff popping through. How many people are in the stream? 7? Okay. So, all right, I love it. Bear with me 1 second here. Just making sure the stream is up and running. It's telling me there's 7 people here, but I'm seeing 5, 7. There we go. Things are catching up. Okay. So, looks like Marcos in the house. 6 Fig is rubbing his rash cream generously. Give him time. Well, thank you guys for being here tonight. I thought it would be kind of fun just to go over some crypto, some charts, things of that nature. It's been a few days since I've been able to hop on. I've been busy. So it's been a very busy weekend for me, celebrating the New Year's, stuff like that. Let's see what we got in the comments section here. Looks like we got the number one Rash Cream crew in the house: Marcos, Crypto Airborne, and Strika. Wow, you guys are going to need to apply it on heavy after all this is said and done. So let's jump right into it. We are going to go over some TA, and I will briefly check the comment section from time to time. So what do we got going here? What do you guys want to see first? Let me know in the comment section. The first thing I see is the first coin we are going to go over. So bear with me here. All right. Let's see here. All these comments that I'm getting are super delayed. Looks like Carrie's in the house, Daniel's in the house, Strika. Look at band protocol. We can try to. Definitely let me set up this other little monitor here so I can monitor all you wild ass people in the chat. All right, bear with me, guys. I apologize. I'm still getting used to this new set just as much as you guys are getting used to seeing it. So I am having some technical difficulties on the set right now. So bear with me 1 second, folks. I just need to set up my cell phone so I can see all the comments live. So it looks like we are going to go over band first, just for Strika. And let's just see here. What happens with this. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just monitoring a few other things. There we go. Okay, so sorry about all of that, folks. We will get into it right now. So we are going to look at band protocol for Strika. And band protocol looks like this thing has been taking a very nice dump here recently. I want to see what this looks like on a weekly chart. And I'm going to probably make this live stream a half hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, somewhere in there. Band protocol. How about that? $178.44. Just seeing what you guys can see here. All right. So here we go. This has been the ebb and flow of band protocol. We can see that this thing really does have somewhat of a bottom. Anywhere in the 160s, somewhere in there. We know that. And it almost does look like there may be some, bear with me 1 second here, maybe some sort of a descending triangle that could be forming here, just based off this wick here and these couple wicks here. It wouldn't surprise me to see this come back down maybe to around this 160 level. We're going to go into this in more depth, though, because we can see that on a daily chart, band is really squeezing a symmetrical triangle here. So this is going to be interesting to see what it does. We can see that price action is kind of reacting like this. There we go. And you can kind of see where the symmetrical triangle forms. So bear with me 1 second here. I'm looking at some of these comments here. So here we have it. So this is what Band is going to be doing. If I had to take a guess, Band possibly could be trading within this $268 level down to the $160 level. I'm just trying to feel this thing out. It looks like there was a fairly nice run up here, and we are dealing with some sort of corrective wave to the downside. So whether or not this is an ABC, which is right like this, or an ABCDE, which is like this. Bear with me 1 second, folks. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Something like this. I do think that there is a chance for Band to maybe come back up and retest this 50 moving average. So I want to really look at this thing on like a 4-hour chart. And yeah, you can kind of see how this thing is now. Bear with me 1 second here, folks. I'm really trying to get TradingView to cooperate with me. Bear with me. Here we go. You can kind of see now how we are trading within this symmetrical triangle 4-hour chart. It wouldn't surprise me to see Band, which looks like it's got a nice little bull pennant here or something like that. Maybe some early Elliott wave theory, but at least a touch of this 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. Somewhere around the 189, 190 level might be in order. It may not come up and touch that, but I do think that by January 10th, we might see Band really start to either break up or down. We're going to have to keep our eyes on this one, but I do think that 170 to 190 out to January 10th. Let's look at some more of the chat here. Bear with me 1 second here. I'm just trying to look at this chat live. You guys are going nuts. So thank you all for being here. This is going to look really weird on your screen, but this is necessary. And maybe I'm going to do a little bit of chat overlay. No, that won't work. So let's look at the next coin. What do we got here? Let's see, CKBTA. All right. Let's get a little CKB going here. I like CKB. And there was actually a little bit of a pump in CKB today. So I'm really happy about that. Now, really, not much has changed since the last video I did on CKB. It's still kind of in this ascending triangle kind of thing that I was kind of predicting. We can see that price came right up, exceeded it briefly for a second, but drew back down. Let's really look at where this is at on the 1-hour chart. Yeah, so this is definitely a good thing with CKB because we do have a cup and handle formation with CKB right now. There's no denying that. That's undisputable. It is on the charts and it is right in that ascending triangle kind of formation that I was kind of predicting would happen. Now, over the next few days with CKB, we may in fact see this thing kind of pull some wacky maneuvers. If we do not break this 2.5 cent level, we are looking to see CKB maybe come back down in some sort of corrective wave fashion like this, and maybe kind of retest some of these 0.023-ish levels. This is just a guess, folks. This isn't financial or trading advice, but right now we're pretty far away from the Ichimoku cloud on the 1-hour chart. So with that said, yeah, like I said before, I do think that we might see something like this, or at least a little tester down to this 200 moving average. If you see this thing trading at 0.022-ish, 0.023 the next few days, don't be alarmed. That will just kind of strengthen what we need it'll strengthen this ascending triangle for what we need to do to move to the upside. Let's see here. So with that said, If we do get a nice clean break here, folks, man, it's going to be sweet. I do think that we'll see some resistance up to this 0.0286-ish level, but in the grand scheme of things, if this thing can really get hauling up to around this 0.035-ish level, I do think that we're going to be sitting really, really good. For the most part, this is in a setup for what I like to call a Fibonacci sliver. So if we get bear with me one second here, I'm just going to go to a 4-hour chart and then scoot over. So if we get this nice pump off this ascending triangle up into this channel, there's two things going here. We've got this upper trend line here at 3.5 cents. This has been tough to beat. That's no secret at all. So if we got up into this channel here, and let's just say price action really refuses to drop below this trend line here, we will end up with what I like to call the good old Fibonacci sliver and move to the upside. And I do think that this might be some sort of Elliott wave move to the upside, where we might be seeing this thing really set up to retest some of these all-time highs. So again, you can kind of see how this might work. We've got the ascending triangle a little bit here. If we can hop up into this little sliver here, this is going to propel us right up to all-time highs. Of course, we need Bitcoin to cooperate. There's no questions about that. In addition to that, let's just say price action comes up to all-time highs and we build this new fancy base. What do we got again? We've got another Fibonacci sliver that could launch us into some more highs. So with that said, I do think that this is a possibility. I don't know what the probability is of that happening. I would like to see CKB, instead of pulling one of those maneuvers, just kind of go into price discovery mode like this. I want to see 12 cents for everybody. I want to see 15, 20 cents. It's Nervos Network's time to eat. So with that said, you can kind of see how that might really complete this little Elliott wave sequence to the upside, and we may in fact see some sort of corrective wave play out here. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. If Bitcoin decides to tumble, we might see CKB come down to this lower trend line. And I hate to say this more than anything else, but it is what it is. Because if Bitcoin acts up, we might have some nasty little head and shoulders pattern that could wreck things. So don't get your hopes up until we get up there to those 3.5 cent levels for retest of all-time highs. But I do think that it is here. And we are slowly prepping for a retest of all-time highs at around 4.5 cents. Really pains me to say that CKB has all-time highs at 4.5 cents, because we all know the value. So I see Elizabeth in the chat. Shout out to you, Marcos, James, Falioni. Good to have you here. Looks like me, Strika, Crooked Dream Music. Okay, I'm looking for the next. Bear with me one second here, folks. Bear with me one second here. Looks like we got Crow. So we'll look at crypto.com. Now, I haven't covered crypto.com in quite a bit. Really, I was playing crypto.com. Man, let's see if I can find my old chart from that. Is it this one? Yeah. I can remember telling everybody about crypto.com and the ascending triangle right down at around 20 cents. And then this thing like 5-10x from there. So crypto.com did get a very nice, run upwards. We might be in the stages of seeing some sort of Gartley pattern here. I do want to kind of go ahead and run through that just to see what the chances are that we might have a Gartley on the charts. So we'll just go ahead and run through this. I am actually going to just declare that my X pattern, my X point's going to be right here. Put my A point here, and I'm going to put my B point here for now, C point here, and then I'm going to put my D point somewhere down here. So let's really look at this here at a super high level. If we go ahead and throw this up, we can see that price action did come down for a test of the 61.8, which is really what we wanted to see. And let's just see what we got here. And you can see that it tested the 61.8 here as well. So this is really the areas that I'm looking for a Gartley, a bullish Gartley to really hit these levels. This is very important. And so we go ahead and measure from there up to here. You know, we may end up seeing crypto.com come down to this 127 at around 35 cents. Uh, it's entirely possible. And that might be some sort of ABCDE pattern, something like this. I don't know. You guys can kind of make up your minds. But I do think that over a period of time, we may see this thing run down to around this 35, 36 cent level just based off a bullish Gartley that could possibly be there. And let's just look at this again. And let's just, I'm going to put this B point here. Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, folks, this is looking like it's very close. In here, I'm looking for a 61.8. I'm looking for this number to be close to 61.8, which it is. I'm looking for this number to be at or around 382. I'm looking for this number to be at or around 786. I'm looking for this number to either be at 127 or 161.8. So this Gartley pattern, it very well could be indicating that this might be in the works for crypto.com. It's currently in. I'm going to clear this. And this is really currently fighting with the 250 moving average. And it looks like we did see a little bit of a death cross happen. Price action is trying to pull the 50 down over the 200. And if that does happen, yeah, you're going to see this thing maybe wander on down to at least 48 cents. But it wouldn't surprise me to see it hit that one number down around 35 to 38 cents. So crypto.com, in my book, I would wait. There is a symmetrical triangle squeeze going on with this right now. So this thing is looking to really break here really quick, probably by January 4th. And I would say probably a little bit sooner than that. As price action is bouncing off this Ichimoku cloud on the 4 hours. So let's look at the next one. I believe it was Carrie. Thanks for stopping by. Let's look at Spell. So I'm going to cast a nasty spell on CKB. If you guys don't start smashing that like button, that's for damn sure. I can assure you that. So I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. Spell token. Is it spell token? Okay. We'll just go with this one here. So this is very interesting. So spell token is currently trading at or around 2 cents. Very similar position to CKB. If I had to, what I want you guys to do, if you want to learn something new, is pull up this spell token chart and then pull up Wyckoff pattern. This very well could be a Wyckoff pattern, but nonetheless, we did have a very nice inverse head and shoulders kind of to boot. We know this, folks, because we can see this. So right here, this is kind of the inverse head and shoulders that is formed. On a daily chart, we have a wonderful bull flag, or a bull pennant, excuse me. Price action is above the Ichimoku cloud. So this is huge. And we can see that. And I'm going to look at this on like a 12-hour chart. There we go. Okay, so it looks like it is squeezing badly. It's been squeezing badly since December 23rd. We can see that these lows are now continually getting higher. So this is a great thing to see for spell token holders. So this is good. Now, we do have this little symmetrical triangle squeeze that is occurring, and we're seeing nothing but spinning tops. So that's telling me that price is getting ready to move. And I just want to go ahead and throw up a little Fibonacci time sequence on this. Okay. All right. I'm looking for some erratic swing highs to some erratic swing lows. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Okay, so by measuring this swing high to this swing low down here, we are getting a time sequence, January 3rd, 6 a.m., which is tomorrow. I tell you what, since this is so close, let's try to call this down to the minute, or the hour, I should say, excuse me. So bear with me 1 second while I get this kind of adjusted. So look for spell token to start making moves, possibly January 3rd, 4 p.m. Central Time, or sometime on the afternoon of January 3rd, wherever you are at. So bear with me 1 second here. I'm just trying to catch up with the comment section here. Okay, so I think that's where we're at with spell. Let's just go ahead and see where this thing might float up to. I mean, this thing could easily 2x up to 4 cents from here. Let's just take a quick peek at this. I would say 3 cents, just over 3 cents, definitely doable. Let's just see here. Obviously, a retest of this all-time high or whatever at 0.038, somewhere in there. And currently, we might see resistance at 0.026. It will have some good smooth sailing up to about 0.031 cents. But yeah, if this thing starts ripping again, 0.047, 5, almost 6 cents might be a very nice area to hit. It does almost look like there might be some sort of Elliott wave theory maneuver or something like that to the upside on this one. So let's look at the comments section. So I'm looking here. It looks like Falioni Hot was commented on alongside CKB. Okay, Marcos has Soul. Hot. Let's look at Hot. And I tell you what, there's nothing hotter right now than Crypto Airborne's rash, as it stings and burns, probably. So I can't find Hot. If you can tell me what the project name is in the comments section, let me know. Let's look into the next one, VGX. Okay, let's look at VGX here. So, and then I saw another one for ETH, and we'll look at that. Okay, so Voyager. We can see that the last time I did TA on Voyager was on Crypto Airborne's live stream. We can see that at the time there was this little symmetrical triangle squeeze. But now we can see this thing has really developed. So I do think that we will be seeing Voyager token here make a move by tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning at the latest. I would just be a guess. This thing is really squeezing out. Now, the one thing about price action, stuff like that, when we start to see these symmetrical triangles form off these bare legs, it's usually an indication that we will see the price trend continue. So it wouldn't surprise me if this thing broke back down to around this $2.79 level. But I do think that we have had enough time here where you can obviously see that this thing's been double bottoming over the last few weeks, last week or so. Uh, and I do think that it has found some solid support here. So I want to look at this thing on a daily chart though, just to see what some of these candles are doing. Okay, so we've got lots of spinning tops going on right now. On the daily, price action is a ways from the cloud, the Ichimoku cloud. We can see the 50 moving average way up here. We can see that this conversion line is trading sideways with the baseline barreling down towards it. So whenever I see that, I hope that the baseline basically falls underneath this red conversion line. And if we start to see this red conversion line start to arc upwards, boy, we're going to see Voyager token probably rush up to a $3.50 level, maybe $3.61 level, $3.95 level. So those will be kind of the areas of interest if we do see Voyager make a nice little run here. But if Voyager, for some reason, decides that it's going to go south, we need to look at that and see where this thing could end up. So this 127 is one of the first places I'm looking from here. Currently, price action is really being held up by threads at the 786. This is kind of like the asshole's last chance when it comes to the this when it comes to price action dropping lower. So $2.78, $2.47 if that really breaks us down um, from this 100% level. But man, I'd hate to see it come down to this 161.8 level. It wouldn't surprise me if this ended up acting as a decent corrective wave, at least down to the 127. So keep your eyes on that. If you're seeing really wicked shit happening with Voyager token, and you see it trading lower than $2.93, uh, there might be some bigger issues at stake. But for now, like I said, we are trading quite a ways from the Ichimoku cloud. Usually, when you're trading far away from the cloud will tend to pull price action back towards to it. So we have that. We've got limited data. I just want to check this thing out on the 12-hour chart as well. Okay, so on the 12-hour chart, this is not good. This is not good. This is a huge bearish Ichimoku cloud. Not something I like to see. If we could see VGX squeeze down to $2.94, maybe into this $3 region and kind of skirt up through here, through this weak spot in the cloud, or maybe along through here, that might be the best route for price action to take to get back up on top of the Ichimoku cloud. But this is not good, especially on the 12-hour chart. So I have my doubts about price action right now. It is what it is. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. How many people do we got in this stream? I'm unable to see. If you guys could comment. So VVS, we've looked at this one before, tried to, and it's just not on TradingView. Okay, Yoke is not available either. I wish it was. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, so we got 32, 31, 34. Okay, thank you guys. So if you guys wanted to, we could look at Yoko Inu, but they don't have Yokai Swap, unfortunately. I can't believe how TradingView doesn't have that. Ergo. I like Ergo. I really like Ergo. Let's look at Ergo. In fact, I just picked up 85 more Ergo today because it's a good coin. It's underrated, in my opinion, not financial or trading advice. But the thing with Ergo is it's not really available on a lot of exchanges. Got low gas fees, just like CKB. It's part of the UTXO Alliance, right alongside CKB, IOHK, Cardano, Komodo, Topple. Who else am I missing? Ergo. Yeah, there's another one, I believe, but it's a good, solid project. And the fact that they are all sharing their research and bouncing things off, between the foundations is a good thing. So with Ergo, folks, we have found some really nice bottoms here as of late. So whether or not we're going to hold is anybody's guess. But this thing's been trading underneath this 200 moving average. It is so far from it. And we can see that if we're looking at this Ichimoku cloud, we definitely have, bear with me 1 second here while I redraw these trend lines. We definitely have this crazy downward channel. And I do think that after this huge Elliott wave impulse to the upside, we can really see this ABC corrective wave that struck Ergo and really stripped it down. To be honest, I didn't think we'd see Ergo drop from the $10 level. So this really was concerning. I want to look at this on the daily chart and really take a quick peek at this. So Ergo right now is trading pretty far away from the Ichimoku cloud, so it wouldn't surprise me to see Ergo maybe come up and at least touch off this 50 moving average at some point in time. And thank you, H. Afta. I totally appreciate that, more than you know. So thank you for the super chat. And so we also have the conversion line and the baseline. So the baseline is this blue one. The conversion is this red line. And if we can get this conversion line to start arcing upwards, we will likely see Ergo start ripping towards this 50 moving average. Now, there's one thing that I wanted to do, and that's to measure. Okay, look at this. So remember how I was talking about this 127 area, folks? I'm always talking about this area. So we measured from this little nasty point here up to these triple tops. Back in September, this thing was trading at $20 almost. Where did price action end up? Well, this thing ran all the way down to the 127, $4.72. So this to me would be a halfway decent buy-in point. Now keep in mind, there might be room for this thing to fall down to the 161.8. And it's a long fall down to the 161.8, but keep in mind that it could happen and this thing could end up at 65 cents. I'm hoping that we are seeing people buy Ergo right around 127. Now, I'm going to be releasing a few videos on Ergo coming up in the next week about some of the applications or dApps that are being built on Ergo, and it's pretty exciting. And Marcos in the comments absolutely agree with you on this. He's saying that there could be a massive inverse head and shoulders on the charts, and he's 100% right, I think. So with that said, you know what? Over the next couple months, we might see Ergo make a move to the upside, kind of like it did previously. Or if we kind of cloned this price action here, we might see something like this occur. But whoa, hopefully we don't see price action do something like that, because that would be kind of freaky. But we might see something like this happen, and it would not surprise me. Or at least if we ended up with a cup and handle and rip to the upside. But my goal is to have a little bag of Ergo. They are proof of work. I like that about Ergo. I like being able to mine crypto simply because we are taking energy and basically, taking energy and putting it into a store of value, essentially, that can grow. So I think that Ergo is, and I hate to say this, I think Ergo is sitting good. It's not financial or trading advice, but I think this thing has bled for far too long. We're starting to see this conversion line really kind of flat line here, and I'm hoping that this thing comes to the upside. Thank you, Marcos, dude. You totally did not have to do that. I appreciate it. Definitely. So let's see who can do the biggest super chat tonight. I'm just kidding. But yeah, if anything, I would love to see Ergo kind of maybe hop into some sort of descending triangle and kind of move up like this. But we might see some Wyckoff in there as well. So let's really look at. Okay, so Peter is talking about Siacoin. Let's look into Siacoin because I just got a notification from my miners that they sent my my Siacoin earnings to my wallet. So now I want to see what's going on. So I don't remember the last time I did Siacoin. To be honest with you, I don't remember if it was last week on my channel or if it was on some sort of live stream or whatever. But you can see that I was speculating on this ascending triangle that could possibly be forming. Folks, we can see this Fibonacci channel and how price action is really reacting quite nicely with it. So I'm hoping that we will see Siacoin maybe rip back up to around this 2.5 cent level and really kind of fill in these trend lines going forward. So it also wouldn't surprise me to see Siacoin pull something like this as well. We might necessarily bounce off. We might not necessarily bounce off that trend line, but we might follow a trend line similar to this. I really want to go ahead and throw up a little Fibonacci time sequence. So bear with me 1 second. And let's see here. Yeah, and so Marcos is elaborating on Siacoin about the token burn. Now, the token burn, when we're talking token burns, folks, when you hear numbers like 1.7 billion tokens being burned from an ecosystem, okay, that sounds like a lot. But Siacoin is a data storage company or cryptocurrency very similar to CKB in many ways. So by burning these tokens, essentially what we're doing is creating higher data storage prices down the road, which if you're looking for long-term survivability of a platform, uh, that might not be the best option. Now, they were going to burn 1.7 billion tokens that were in the Siacoin's foundation's reserve. So really, it would not be taking any coins directly that are directly in circulation. They're already sitting in wallets. And I believe I did the math on this. And so let's say we burn 1.7 billion tokens. This would only theoretically raise the price of a Siacoin 0.0003. So is it worth it? Or maybe it was 0.003. So it's not even worth it. We're talking less than a third of 1%. Like, it's crazy. So with that said, it's not worth it in my opinion. Thank you, Carrie. You totally did not have to do that. I appreciate it more than you. I'm going to put that into crypto. All these tips I get and stuff go right into crypto. Let's see here. So that's kind of where we're at with Siacoin. If we look at the daily chart, it's showing us a time sequence point of March 18th, 2022, which is 2 months out. Not the biggest deal, but we might see a few different things happen here. We might see price action come up like this, bounce back down, maybe reverse to the upside like this. We might see price action kind of do, one of these. We just don't know until we get there. Hopefully, price action has kind of left this ascending triangle here and really kind of ripped to the upside before then. But it is what it is, and we'll just have to wait and see what Siacoin does. There is some sort of symmetrical triangle squeeze that is occurring at this moment right now, so we do need to kind of break out of that. And this thing's in a very similar position technically uh, when it comes to a symmetrical triangle squeeze like Voyager token. We've got this nasty bear leg, price being paused by a symmetrical triangle squeeze. If this thing decides to go south, we're going to really need this thing to hold up above 0.0138, somewhere in there, or we are going to suffer some consequences to the downside. So keep that in mind, that this thing could return back down to the penny level. Much as I hate to say that, I mine Siacoin. I love it. It's a decent project. You got to support all these projects. So I did not want to do that. There we go. Now let's look at some other things here. King Crimson 234 says, I'm sitting here wishing I still had the 12 million Doge and 14 BTC that I sold in 2014. I'm sure you all have similar stories, and I have a very similar story. I maxed out a Wells Fargo credit card back in the day for Bitcoin. I had a $1,200 limit on this credit card, and I bought 200 Bitcoin with it. Think about that. 200. And that would be worth about what? 200 times 47,000, roughly 16 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I had sold, and I bought that Bitcoin at $6. And I remember I sold it at $7 because I had to pay the credit card off. I couldn't just abscond, my payments or my responsibilities from that. So I think I made like $200 and paid the credit card back, and I bought beer and pizza and stuff with it because I was a broke college kid, right? So, all right, that's my story on Bitcoin. All right, let's look at the comments here. Luna, okay, Jared is asking for XBD digital bits. All right, sorry guys, I am just skimming through these comments. Bear with me 1 second here. Do apologize. My feed is not 100% live. You guys are probably seeing or hearing me live, but my comment section is not live. It lags and it's so irritating. All right, so let's look at X. Is this XDB? Somebody could tell me in the comments how many people we got watching this thing. Would be great. I appreciate that, guys. And here we go. Digital bits. I don't know much about this. Never really heard of it. I might have done TA on it at some point in time. Don't remember. Let's see here. 27, 26, 30. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Carrie says she didn't sell a bunch of Doge when I should have. That's worse. But I get it. I get it. I get it. More than you guys know. So here's what happened with XDB. Now you're probably wondering what happened. Why did this fall? And this is one of my most favorite patterns that you guys can look for when you're wondering, hey, have we reached the top? You know what I look for here, and this is a very classic. This is a very classic Elliott wave impulse to the top, and we can see this A, B, C, D, E correction or sideways trading that occurred, and then the bottom fell off, and this is going to A, B, C, D, E or A, B, C correct after that. But when we start to see this Elliott wave theory to the top side, and then what we see is this rising wedge form. These rising wedges are some of the best patterns when we are trying to identify a top. And really, once we can see that price action has started to violate this trend line here, it's a good time to get out because the market's bailing. Everybody else is bailing. But this is a classic. And we're going to just run through this one more time. You can see that this was proper Elliott wave theory. 0.2 to 3 was not the shortest wave. And we can see how 0.2 or 4, 0.4 did not come down lower than 0.2. 0.2 did not come down lower than 0.0 and vice versa. So this is a good thing to see. And this is something that I'm always looking out for. We got this sideways consolidation, something like this. And then the bottom kind of broke loose. And I'm just kind of curious to see if we throw up some Fibonacci time sequence from this swing high to this swing low, if it will pinpoint something right in here. So we are going to test this out. Okay, so really nothing. Okay, so I just thought, well, for shits and giggles, we'll throw that up. But we can see, for the most part, that by measuring, I'll make sure I got this all right. By measuring this time sequence, it did predict this drop off here, a little bit of a momentum change here, and nothing too concrete. So I do think that as of right now, we can see XBD. Let's look at this thing on a 12-hour chart. I love the 12-hour chart. So right now, man, I'm just trying to get a good look at this thing. So right now, it wouldn't surprise me to see the XDB come up and test this 56-cent level. I would really like to see it hit this 56-cent level. But I do think that there is a possibility for a corrective wave to the downside. And this may, inversely turn into some sort of head and shoulders pattern. We just need more data. I want to look at this thing again on the daily chart. Okay, so right now, this thing is testing the 50 moving average on the daily, and it looks like it is double topping it 2 days in a row, quite possibly today and yesterday. So if this thing gets rejected, it's likely to come down to this 200 moving average and test that around the 40 cents. And at that point in time, I think we might be gearing up for some sort of symmetrical triangle formation, which could lead to a further drop because this Ichimoku cloud is very thick. And one thing I love about Ichimoku cloud trading is that price action really loves to move through these skinnier parts of these Ichimoku clouds. So with that said, it wouldn't surprise me to see price kind of maybe come into this squeeze here, drop below, who knows how low, but it wouldn't surprise me to try to test this thinner part of the cloud or a thinner part of the cloud later on. So if I had to guess, I do think that this thing is possibly coming down to around this 40 cent level if it cannot get past this 50 moving average. So let's just play devil's advocate here for a second. We'll move on to the next crypto. So if this thing does get through the cloud, you can see that we'll have some resistance at 50 cents, 57 cents, 64 cents, 73 cents, 86 cents, and $1 too. And to the downside, I do think that there is potential for this thing to maybe run back down to this 40 cent level, which is at the 786. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. So it wouldn't surprise me there. If it can't get caught by that, 28 cents, 12, 13 cents if things get really bad. So those are some price points to kind of look at. All right. I'm looking at some other stuff. Okay, so we got Helium, HNT. No problem, Jared. Looks like Jonathan. When doing TA, do you look at the daily chart, 4-hour chart, or combination of others before deciding when to enter or leave a project? Yeah, I do. So typically, when I am looking to enter or exit a project, I will be looking at the daily chart, primarily just to get a general consensus on where things are at right now. If I can see that, hey, we are in some sort of Elliott wave theory motion to the upside, and I can catch on to that a little early, I'll definitely gauge that on the 1-day chart. And this is a great example of why. So when we study these daily charts and weekly charts, even, one thing to look out for is spinning tops. And I like spinning tops because uh, it will tell you a lot of times, and this might be a bad chart example. Let's just go over to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is notorious for this. And let's just look at this on like a 3-day chart. And so when we're looking at Bitcoin on like a 3-day chart, one thing that I'll look for is spinning top, and I will look for a consecutive series of candles. And I'm looking for bullish engulfing candles. So I like to see the spinning top. I like to see some bullish engulfing candles sometimes. Just depends on what it is that I'm looking for. If we can see something like this, we get the spinning top, another big bullish engulfing candle, I might hop in for a quick ride. But I will do that. And then I will also look at shorter time periods to see, what exactly is going on, because to be honest with you, I'm not going to enter in if I see a little head and shoulders play out. I'm not going to enter in, if I see some Elliott wave theory play out. I'm going to wait for that to correct, a little bit more. But yeah, I tend to look at the daily charts, and then I tend to really kind of uh, drill down. I like the 4-hour, the 12-hour chart the most. So let's just see here what else we got. What do you think of KDA, Kadena? Looks like it's in a 1.5 month long symmetrical triangle to me. Okay, let's look at that King Crimson, and then we will look at HNT first. Then we'll look at KDA. HNT. Okay, so it's been a while since I've looked at Helium. What do we have here? I mean, you could almost make the argument that there could possibly be some sort of cup and handle, possibly right in this area. I mean, I think you could make that argument. Right now, it does look like on the daily chart, price is bouncing off this 50 moving average. I'm going to clear this chart. One thing I am not liking about this, it looks like this thing tried to get some nice movement forward. And here's a classic example. I'm just pointing this out because I noticed it. Here is classic Elliott wave theory to the upside. And you can see that there is some similar structure that could be forming here. On the daily chart, I'd like to see some candles closed above this big bearish cloud. So that would be very important, but it wouldn't surprise me to see one more leg up, at least to retest these highs around 56, somewhere in there with Helium. But I want to just go ahead and throw up a little Fibonacci here because this may fall short and this may end up being some sort of Gartley pattern where we see the price come down a little bit. If you don't see, I would say that if you don't see Helium climb above this $45, $46 level up to this $51, $52 level by the end of January or within the next week or two, that we may be seeing some sort of Gartley here. And let's just play devil's advocate on this one because I know there's probably a lot of people invested with Helium. So we'll throw up what's called a bullish Gartley. And I'm going to put my X factor, my X anchor right here. And then I'm going to come up here, put my A anchor there, B here. And I think I'll put C here. And what we're going to be looking for is for D to be somewhere right down in here. So with that said, let's go ahead and really try to come up with some concrete analysis. And let's just see what we got going here. Price action is spearing the 61.8. Now, technically, price action could come all the way up to the top of these candles here at A. It very well could, and it would still be within a valid Gartley pattern. Let's just go ahead here. Okay, so this is, man, it almost looks like we got a bounce off the 786. Technically, what we don't want to, or what we want to see is price action really pierce through this 786. This is really a borderline kind of call. But we might be able to argue that, okay, price action, the majority of it was within the 61.8 and the 786. So let's just pretend for a moment that this could possibly be Gartley. HNT, let's just say the bottom falls out, could come maybe down to this $19.27 level. But let's go ahead and re-throw up this XA BCD pattern. And so the 127 would end up right down around $20. So you know what? I'm not really seeing the numbers here that would support this type of pattern. In addition, we have violated one of the rules of this bullish Gartley at B. So I think we're safe. Oh, man. But getting back to the point, at this point, I do think that it is a good thing that we are seeing these lows continuing to get higher, and we may very well end up seeing something like this occur, some sort of ascending triangle on Helium way up here. It almost kind of looks like might have been something very similar right in here, but this very well could be the pattern that HNT will take. So be cautious at around $56. If you see it up that high, be cautious if this thing's below $31. I'll just say that much for now. So let's move on to the next one. It almost looks like we have a almost looks like we've got a little bit of an ascending triangle on the RSI as well. So that's always something that I look out for, is patterns that occur in the RSI. You can see that right in here, we had an ascending triangle that occurred in the RSI. And as a result of that, boom, price action took off. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing something very similar shake out here. And we might see the RSI just kind of do one of these things right along with what's going on here. So cup and handle would be my guess on this. Let's get on to the next one. Bear with me 1 second, folks. I am just trying to play catch up with you guys here. Okay. And then we'll look at KDA. Okay, let's look at this. Now, KDA, man, this has been one wild ride for sure, to say the least. Let's see where this thing's at on a weekly. So bear with me. Okay, so right now, I do think that KDA it's got a very nice bull flagpole, no doubt about that. But on a weekly chart, we are way too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. We might see this 50 moving average kind of curve like this would be my guess. But you can see that there is a trend line like this. So we may, in fact, be seeing some sort of bull flag or bull pennant, something like this form, or maybe something like this form to the downside. So it wouldn't really surprise me to see KDA really maybe trade down a little bit. Let's look at this. Just trying to get a good gauge. We had such a nice run up here. What I'm looking for is good placement to put my ABC points. Might be seeing something along these lines occur with KDA. With that said, this is kind of in another similar position as the last coin we looked up, HNT, where there could be a potential for a Gartley pattern to occur. Now, on the 12-hour chart with KDA, we can see that price action is about to spear through this 50 moving average and 200. So if that happens and it pulls this 50 moving average down over the top of this 200, we are going to see a death cross occur. So that would not be too good. The conversion line has crossed underneath the baseline, which is not good at all either. So with that said, it makes sense looking at that weekly and the daily that this thing might consolidate a little bit further down. And man, let's just pretend that there might be a Gartley here. I really want to pinpoint this area here, maybe this wick here, but I wouldn't. The thing with these wicks is I don't know how accurate these are. So I'm just going to go to this point, and we'd be looking for, the 127 to be somewhere right down in here. So like I was saying, that $5-6 level, let's get into this here quick. So we look at this. See that price action kind of came right up to the 61.8, exactly what we want to see. So we have that going for us over here. Didn't come up all the way, but it sure as hell might have, just depending on, proper placement, things like that. Who knows if this wick here was accurate, but I do think that there is a chance that this could be what is going on there. We're going to get rid of this, and we are going to pull up a Fibonacci retracement. We're going to see where this bad boy came down to. Again, it came down, pierced the 61.8 level quite nicely. Like I said, I don't know about this scam wick, folks. What's going on with that? Maybe someone did a big ass market sell order and screwed themselves, but we are just going to measure off the bottom here up to A. And so this would really put us in or at around this $3.93 level. Unfortunately, not saying that it's going to go down to those levels, but let's just look at this again. We'll put up our X, A, B, C, and then we'll put our D level down here. I'm hoping we don't see the 161.8 happen, but I'd say 127 for sure. This is what I'm looking for. Yeah, I mean, I think that people could argue the fact that this is pretty close to the 380, 382. It just really depends on where you kind of drop these pinpoints down. This thing triple bottomed in here, so just depending on where you drop this pin kind of can impact other things. 786, I mean, we're not really too close. But yeah, I would say that there could be a chance that this thing comes down to the 127. I know I'm kind of rambling. I'm super tired today, but hopefully we see this thing perk up after all. We are still seeing these lows continue to get higher. So that is something to be proud of for KDA. But man, I surely wouldn't want to get stuck with this thing if it dropped, for that matter. So I'm hoping that we don't see this fall downwards, but man, if it goes down, look for this $8.52 level. Let's get on to the next one. Packable. Okay, cool. Packable wants Stormx and BitTorrent. Okay, we're going to look at BitTorrent to the US dollar. So I'm not sure when the last time we looked at this, but we were kind of speculating. Here's a Gartley pattern. That price action would kind of move down to these levels. I don't know when this was, but you can see that this was my prediction on what could possibly have happened. And it looks like it's coming down to these levels. So interestingly enough, let's get rid of some of these. And it was probably, I don't know when I did this last Bitcoin has been dead for a while. Yeah, it had an okay run up. But yeah, it's been pretty dead for sure. For right now, we can see that there's been a very nice symmetrical triangle squeeze. And bear with me 1 second while I just draw these trend lines up, folks. There's a lot of stuff going on with BitTorrent, and we might be seeing price action squeeze into January 9th, January 8th, somewhere in there before making a choice to go up or down. And I do think that we'll likely see it trading at 0.0031 down to possibly 0.0027-ish, somewhere in that region. But if the bottom falls out, I do think that it's back down to 0.00236-ish. And we do have a Fibonacci time sequence, January 24th at 10 a.m.-ish Central, somewhere in there. I do think that could be a valid move point. And just seeing this symmetrical triangle squeeze here, off this pretty bearish pattern, it wouldn't surprise me to see some sort of turnaround down at that time. So I'm hoping that, come January, late January, we start to see a turnaround for BitTorrent. And at that point, we have a mega descending triangle on a huge foothold, meaning we have held up this trend line at or around 0.000236 for quite a while. And so it would just be natural for price to start moving to the upside. So that is BitTorrent right now. We just need to wait. And then Stormx. I know there's a lot of STMXers in here. I like Stormx. It's a good project. And okay, you can see I had some leftover TA on this. You know, we are seeing a very similar symmetrical triangle squeeze. Seems to be it really does seem to be the theme of tonight is all these symmetrical triangle squeezes. So really watch for Stormx to trade within this 2 cent to almost 4 cent level. I'm really thinking that we might see some Elliott wave theory here to the upside, or at least I'm hoping. But this would be a very nice bull pennant. You know, we can see that there is a nice bull flagpole here. If we go over to a weekly, it might define it a little bit better. And so you can kind of see with me 1 second here, folks. Just going to head back to the weekly. And you can kind of see here how this would, in fact, be a very nice flagpole with a pennant on the weekly chart. Man, this looks good. You know, we're seeing this symmetrical triangle squeeze. I'm hoping that Stormx would come up and it would have really no issues breaking through this very thin Ichimoku cloud, which is a bearish cloud. I would hate to see it attempt this at any time after really April 18th, somewhere in there. We need to get this price up through this cloud now, or at least by the end of March. So I do think that we might be seeing Stormx gear up for a 2 or 3x, you know, come April-ish, somewhere in there. Are we going to see a very similar run up, you know, like we had last April? Nobody knows. That's the question. But I do think that Stormx needs to squeeze at least for a few more weeks, and it's going to be 2 cent to 3.5 cents, somewhere in there level. So let's look at, no problem, buddy. Happy to help you out, Paka. I just want to just check one other thing. If you guys could do me a favor and just super smash that like button if you're just trickling in. I totally appreciate it more than you know. So bear with me here. And we'll do one more here. And we'll do XLM. And then I got to get to sleep. I have been traveling, folks. I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year's wherever you were at. Hope it was safe. But we can see XLM. You know, we got this symmetrical triangle thing going on again. And usually when we start seeing these big bull flagpoles, symmetrical triangles happen, it's a good indication that we will see the price continue in the direction that it was headed. So we've got very nice thin Ichimoku cloud all the way out till the end of May, or beginning of May, excuse me. And it would not surprise me to see XLM really kind of trade in between this 35 cent and 25 cent level. I do think that this is sitting pretty for XLM. I do think that this is very similar to what we were just looking at with what was it? What was the last one we were just looking at, folks? Oh my goodness. That's why I need to get some sleep. Straight up. Okay. Chris says if BTC stays on its upward trend, I'd be very surprised if CKB didn't 10 to 20x. Yeah, I agree, man. I don't know if it's going to happen in quarter one, but I'll take it. BTT. Thank you, George. So one rule of thumb when we're looking at flagpoles like this, we can kind of come down to the base and maybe measure off, where this thing may or may not go to. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a dollar and high 90s, low 90s XLM. Let's just do this once. If we just do this, yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me to see XLM if we get this nice bullish pop out of this uh, bull bull pennant here, really up to this 96, 97 cent level, $1.18 level. Those are kind of the price points I'd be looking at for XLM. So just kind of um, a good thing to keep your eye on. It also wouldn't surprise me to see XLM if worst case scenario, maybe drop down to 19 cents. And that really wouldn't be a bad thing if it did happen. We just might see more of a bull flag happen. But of course, if we can just maintain this nice symmetrical triangle squeeze, that would be wonderful as well. So STMX, thanks, Jordan. That was the one I was just looking at. Brain fart. Elizabeth Allen, thank you all for your hard work in the crypto community. My pleasure. I'm very happy to have you here as well. So I think that is going to pretty much wrap it up here. I'm just going to look through these comments here just to make sure I didn't miss anybody, any questions or anything like that. Yokai Swap. Yeah, so Yokai Swap is kind of in this really sketchy position right now, and nothing to do with coin metrics or anything. But we can't really look at charts because um, the Avedex chart that everybody was looking at, it's all corrupted and it's not on TradingView yet. So I don't know. I'm almost half tempted to write an email to TradingView or something, try to get a hold of them, or maybe we can blow them up on Twitter. Maybe I'll throw a tweet up if you guys want to retweet it and really hammer on TradingView to get that Yokai Swap ticker added to TradingView. I will be able to just hit the ground running doing TA with on Yokai a little bit easier because right now we really have these sketchy charts that we have to try to deal with. So this live stream went about 40 or 50 minutes longer than I thought it would. Big shout out to all of you. Thank you. It looks like we have 24, 21 people still in the chat. So thank you guys all for watching. I totally appreciate it. I've got some really cool stuff coming up. I'm going to be doing a video with Jordan Mack of Nervos Network, probably within the next week or two. These are just kind of things that are going on with the channel. Also going to be kind of working with some other projects within Nervos that I'll disclose information about that here in the next week or so once we kind of get the ball rolling. Also going to be talking about some things on Ergo. So be prepared for that. There might be some opportunities for investment as well within that. So yeah, I'm heading to bed, folks. I need to get some sleep. I got to get up in about 6 hours. So I'm taking a melatonin and hitting the hay. So I hope you guys all had a wonderful New Year's. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night. And I will see you guys in the morning. And comment in the comments section of this video, not in the chat, some cryptos that you want me to go over. I'm thinking like I'm gonna crank out like 4 or 5 videos tomorrow and just go buck wild. So maybe if I see a bunch of repeat tags, we'll check into that. So we'll see you guys all tomorrow, and thank you for watching.